All right, everyone, welcome back into another NFL DFS and NFL props video. Again, gonna be doing the combination live stream here. Kind of a crazy slate already. I just put this in the Discord chat as well. We got confirmation that one of the players for the Carolina Panthers, which kind of was a big mover on the slate, is going to be out. So Raheem Blackshear is going to be out. And so, honestly, if you guys are someone that is prop betting right now, Mike Boone is looking pretty darn appealing at 28.5 rush yards. Okay, so I want to start with calling that out. And let me pull up the screen here so you guys can see that as well. Let's see. Here we go. And so, yes. Okay, so we have right here, Blackshear still available. He is out. We got confirmation on that. And so Mike Boone there, that's pretty appealing. Okay. And so just let's look at it from like a DraftKings perspective as well. Let's just look at the quarterbacks. So we got confirmation that Bryce Young, Andy Dalton's out. So yes, it's going to be a lot of Jack Plummer, like we assumed. We also are going to get a little bit of Jake Luton. Running back wise, let's see. I don't know if it was confirmed if Chuba Hubbard and Miles Sanders are out. Let me just double check. Chuba Hubbard is out. Miles Sanders is out. Okay. So, and then you have Brooks is obviously out. And so looking at it, guys, I mean, that really leaves them thin. That leaves them with Mike Boone and I don't even know how to say this guy's name, Jaden Sheridan, whatever. Okay, so they're extremely thin today. So already kind of crazy stuff there. So if you're playing DFS, Mike Boone instantly becomes probably the best running back play. It seemed like a slate in which we didn't have that many great plays. He instantly becomes a good play. Okay. And so the question that we have then is what do we do with Jaden? I don't really know. I haven't really seen much from him at all, honestly. So it's a big question mark that we have on the slate. So again, just looking at it, we still have that prop bet available right now on PrizePicks, which is fascinating there. Oops. Let's see here. So I want to see real quickly as well. Mike Boone, rush yards, 28. And on pick six, it's 25, guys. So Mike Boone, oh, you can't really see this. One sec. Get this a little better. One sec. Now you guys can see it a little bit better here. So Mike Boone here at 25.5 on pick six, that instantly becomes really the best bet that we have on the slate today. So that's pretty intriguing there. Again, with Blackshear out, that's a very good prop bet. And I do want to mention that this game that we have here, it is going to be a game in which is kind of rainy there. And that could be why we're seeing a lot of DNPs for the Panthers. So that was some pretty interesting news. I did want to start out with that as well. So if you guys have any questions, DFS wise, prop wise, get those in as well. We already have some, so let me get some of those answered. So thoughts on Hooker, I like him a lot. So if you guys can specify whether it's a DFS or props question, that will help out as well. I'm assuming this is more of a DFS question. DFS wise, great play. DFS wise, easy to stack as well. A little bit too easy to stack, honestly. That's probably my biggest issue with him as a whole, is that he's a little bit too easy to stack. But he is someone that I have a bunch of exposure to. My exposures at the quarterback position right now go a lot of Jack Plummer. I think it's his dad. It keeps saying Jake Plummer, but Jack Plummer, I have a lot of him. And then my next highest exposed player is Hayden Hooker. And then I have Tommy DeVito next after that. Boone over rush yards. So yeah, Boone over rush yards. Again, this is a better prop bet on something like pick six. Again, 25.5, that should not be there. Again, just with Blackshear out, that's something we want to do. I'm making a note of it right now as well. I'm kind of sacrificing my bankroll to do this live stream because I'm sure I won't be able to get the proper exposure to that one tonight. Obviously, it's not a lock and load to hit by any means, but if we can create these edges like that consistently throughout the preseason, we will be successful throughout the preseason. So best receiver for cash. Let's kind of go over this. I do think, I don't know if I really like this question is kind of the best way to sum it up. Because it depends on your quarterback. It really does. So like, let's say you're playing Jack Plummer. Then to me, some of the best receivers you can play, and let me just double check the receiver inactives as well, make sure I didn't miss anyone. So Deontay Johnson's out, Legette's out, Adam Thielen's out. So no surprises there. Obviously, they're a little bit banged up lower down, but we're not too worried about that. So for cash purposes, I would say not Irv. I keep saying Irv Smith. Smith Marset here is going to be I think the best cash play. And part of the reason as to why is if you kind of look at some of his props as well, you're going to see that he has a decently high prop line as well. And here, we'll go here. Like 28.5 receiving yards. I don't want to say like PrizePicks and Underdog or the end all be all, but if they can confirm what I'm already seeing with my eyes, I like that play a lot. And so I think that's a good stacking opportunity. That makes a lot of sense for cash. Now, he's not the only one that I like for the Panthers. I mentioned I like Mike here. He is someone that has popped in the preseason in the past. You got Coker as well, who has really been standing out in preseason. So Smith is going to be the cash play if I had to choose one. For the Panthers, we look at I like Baker a lot for New England. I think he's solid. Detroit, it does feel like a guessing game. They have a bunch of players that I would be comfortable playing. Caden Davis is someone that has gotten hype out of camp. I just don't really see it. And New England, it's a guessing game as well. I will say if Ford Wheaton, if he was confirmed active, and this is something that I want to look at basically prior to lineup lock here, he would be like my favorite probably play on the slate. It's funny how that works. But he looked good in the preseason last year. I believe he had a season-ending injury last year at the end of the preseason. So obviously we hate that. But he's too risky now unless we get that confirmation. And I literally have a laptop right here. The laptop I'm streaming on right now, searching Twitter on my phone and just looking at all the beat reports and stuff. So it's the nature of the beast tonight. But to answer your question, I think Baker just individually is the best cash play just because it's likely that he gets playing time. You got so many veteran receivers there for the Patriots. I just worry about them getting playing time as a whole. Let's see here. So, yeah, I believe there's rain. No, that was Detroit, actually. I think that was Detroit and the Giants, actually. I know yeah, it was Detroit and the Giants. I saw some screenshots or some pictures taken from some beat reporters at the game saying it was a little bit rainy. It didn't look too bad. I know that there was rain in the forecast in New England at some point, but I haven't seen any confirmation that it's raining there. Sorry, that was the Giants game there. Thankfully, it's not being played in Carolina. You guys follow me for PGA DFS at all. That the first round didn't even take place, which is kind of crazy. Who should I pair it with? So it's a good question. And let me get the 9 to 5 PrizePicks cheat sheet loaded in general as well, seeing if we have any good prop bets that we can pair with that in general. Because I don't think we need to just purely go off of, and I do have it pulled up. I don't think we purely need to go off of what prop bets are available for NFL, right? We just don't need to force that. And so let me zoom this out again one more here so you guys can see it. So we got Aaron Judge. So Aaron Judge would be the best one here that we could potentially roll out for his over fantasy score. So if you're just looking for a two-slip bet, it'd be him. You got Kyle Schwarber there as well over his fantasy score. Yandy Diaz starting to get a little bit too low there, but he'd be one that we would roll with. Earlier on today, I put out a slip on Twitter as well, kind of showing my favorite bets for the day with that discounted Olympic free square. I know it went at least one. It had one hit and at least a tie. I'm kind of curious if it hit right now. No, it tied. Brian Reynolds had a push. So, I mean, sitting pretty well there, but that's my long way of saying I had Aaron Judge and Kyle Schwarber in that. That kind of, in a weird way, kind of reduces the likelihood of those two hitting, but that'd be what I would want to roll with there. Let's get back into some questions here. Favorite Giants receiver. So right now, assuming Wheaton does sit, I don't really have a favorite Giants receiver. That's kind of my issue. Like I like the talent of Isaiah McKenzie. Obviously, if we knew for sure he was going to play a lot, he'd be the one I would want to go with. Gunner as well is someone that I like. It's a guessing game for them. It really is. And so my favorite receiver for the Giants is actually just if you're playing Tommy DeVito at quarterback. I'm assuming that's why you're asking that. I'd rather just go with. I'll pull it up here as well. I'd rather just go with like Theo Johnson. Honestly, I think that's the route I'd rather go. He's a young tight end. It makes sense for him to get playing time. How do I like Patriots running back Hasty? So I do like Hasty as a whole. I just haven't been able to get to Hasty too much today, just because I think it makes a lot more sense for someone like Kevin Harris to get a decent amount of playing time. And I think it makes a decent amount of sense for Terrell Jennings, who apparently has looked good in camp in the minimal time that he's played. It makes sense for those two to get playing time. And I know it's a different coaching staff now, but at the same time, we have seen the Patriots in the past, and it kind of seems like the same philosophies are carrying over in this coaching staff that was there prior. And so in the past, we just saw that they kind of went heavy on no-name running backs that weren't going to contribute for them. And so like Jennings fits that mold perfectly. Now, I don't think we need to get there as much, because we should just be targeting probably Mike Boone now. We got a question about the kicker, Jake Bates, over field goals. I believe I could have swore that they had two kickers. The Lions, I believe they have two kickers. Let's see if we can figure that out here. So that's my concern. And I don't know if the depth chart will actually show two kickers on there or not. It's not something I look for, but let's take a peek. If they do, for sure, like, I don't want to mess with that. That is kind of the difficult part of dealing with that. So no, just Jake Bates. I guess I'd be fine with that then. Maybe just do a quick Twitter search on that as well, just to confirm that they only have one kicker active. Sometimes we just don't get that report as well with the kicker. It's kickers and punters. Like, there's been a lot of random surprises over the 7 years I've been doing preseason DFS coverage, where we have a surprise kicker like that. Now, the information is much better nowadays, so we don't typically have to worry about that too much. But just confirm that, please. Any thoughts on Devin Tompkins? He is like the one player where I just don't have that much of, because I just like getting to some of the other players a little bit more for the Panthers, receiver wise. Again, I kind of just like some of the other guys a little bit better. I never want to talk anyone out of play. So if you're finding a reason to play him, I wouldn't talk you out of it. It is a guessing game a little bit, but he's someone I haven't got to. So for pick six, I haven't really went over it just yet. We can kind of highlight it here, and let me get back into this screen where I have a little bit zoomed out. Give me 1 second. All right, here we go. So for pick six, I haven't went over it just yet. I would say the best one that we have now is going to be Mike Boone, just because, well, we got the news that Blackshear is going to be out, and so they're really not accounting for that, obviously. So at 25 is his PrizePicks line, or pick six line. That's a clear edge for us now, because it's probably going to shoot up to like 30. And let's see if okay, so PrizePicks finally took it off. So how long have we been going live for? 15 minutes. Hopefully you guys were all able to get that bet in for Mike Boone. But if you didn't, yes, you can go to pick six and get that in. From there, it is tougher for me. I would say, like, Plummer is at 138.5 for his passing yards. Now, I know I said on yesterday's prop video that I wanted to bet the under there on PrizePicks, just looking at the underdog line as well. Now, I did end up running out that middle on underdog, where I did run out the over. I don't mind the idea of running out another middle where, what's the highest line? PrizePicks is at 145.5 right now. I don't mind the idea of running out the under on PrizePicks and then trying to run out the over on pick six. Now, that's kind of preseason DFS where we're always trying to hit these like kind of random middles. But again, like, Mike Boone is probably the best one. Yeah, Joe Millen, guys. If you watched the prop video yesterday, you saw Joe Millen, his prop line bumped up to like 10 more now on underdog. It's at 60.5. We were able to get him at 50.5, which is pretty awesome. Let's see any other ones here. I still don't mind Javon Baker, but I don't feel the need to go out of my way to target him too much. I wouldn't say there's as big of edges, honestly. Really, Hooker is the biggest one. So I would pair Hooker with Mike Boone for pick six. It's probably just a 2-slip bet there. Loving the questions, guys. Yeah, Blackshear is out. We got that confirmation. And so I want to try to get through the questions so I can definitely, and the chat picked you up there. Good job, Power. What's going on? You see familiar faces in there. It's always awesome. All Let's see. Top 3 receivers. Okay, it's been off for 5 minutes. All right, good. Knight rush yard. So Bam Knight, I haven't really seen any hype on Bam Knight, like today, which is kind of strange. Typically speaking, like the closer to game time, the more news I start to see on certain players, and we're just not really seeing that. So, again, I don't want to talk anyone out of a prop. I think it makes logical sense for him to get some playing time. But like he's a good candidate to get carries in this game. He's a player with Detroit that just in their kind of preseason philosophy in the past, but Dan Campbell's preseason philosophy in the past, we actually saw Jefferson get a bunch of work last preseason. Craig Reynolds got some work last preseason as well. I think Knight could kind of be that person. I think Jefferson's still going to be that person. So I think he does have a good chance to get a lot of work in this game. And especially with the being a little bit rainy, it does make sense for like someone like him to get some work. So if I had to choose, yeah, I would be going with the over there, but I don't think I want to go there. I think there's other ones that we have better edges on. Yeah, so I'm assuming that this is just like a 1-for-1 question, like you're doing one lineup. If I had to choose, I would go with Green with that stack. Now, Fountain, I don't mind as well. Just looking at the prop lines, that's kind of what's forcing me a little bit. And just kind of based off of what I saw on Twitter and stuff, it just seemed to favor him a little bit more. But obviously, you do another lineup and play them both. And I know you mentioned both there, but I wouldn't play them both in the same. You could. I wouldn't talk you out of it. I guess I know I'm doing that a decent amount, but my issue with Detroit, and man, I want to see. Do we have? I want to see this. Do we get information on the starters for this? Oh, oh. Okay, so I did just see something for the Panthers I want to talk about in a second here. So, yeah, I'm just trying to see the starters right now for Detroit. And you know what? Let me just type something real quick. Oh, this is great. Get a wireless. It's great content right here. Me typing while doing the live stream. Apologies for that, but kind of is what it is. Ah, man, the Lion beat reporters are letting me down, guys. They really are. If anyone sees anything confirming their lineup for tonight, that would be great as well. It's amazing. Sometimes it's really good. Sometimes it's not. But typically speaking, when we're not getting any information, it's kind of the information that we already have is fine. I don't think we're going to get any surprising players sitting. All right, I'm watching a video of who's dressed up right now. Preseason NFL DFS. It's a beast. But yeah, I'd be fine with both. But again, to kind of answer the question, we have Caden Davis there. Tom Kennedy is someone that could get some work as well. Definitely interesting. So, yeah, Hyde is someone that I don't mind. I think he's going to play. I think it was confirmed that he was going to play. Again, if you could as well, just do a quick Twitter search before you like put him into your lineup. He's one of those players that I do have some concern with playing or not. And so I would just double check that. But yeah, he's one big play right away from kind of breaking the slate. He can get 5 points on one big catch. That has been a point of emphasis apparently for the Giants in this camp and in this camp going against the Detroit Lions as well. So yeah, I could see it. I wouldn't talk you out of it. I don't think he's my favorite play. I haven't got any confirmation on Bryce Ford Wheaton. Again, I'm more on the side that he's probably going to sit tonight just because it is a little bit rainy in that game. But again, I can search again here and hope that we got more information. And all right, I'm not seeing any inactive or active report for the Giants just yet. Yeah. Nothing just yet. But all right, so real quickly, we did get some confirmation on the Panthers, just who's active as well. So I want to talk about that as well, just real quick. So who's going to be active for the Panthers tonight? No surprise at quarterback. The players that we thought would be active at quarterback are going to be active at quarterback. Jack Plummer, Jake Luton are both going to be active. We know that. From there, Mike Boone active. They got Dylan Johnson as well. Dylan Johnson is not someone that's listed on the slate. I believe he was the TCU running back, if I remember correctly. Washington running back. Jeez. Last year, he wasn't terrible. So they do have 3 active running backs. So it's not like Mike Boone's going to get. It could just be Dylan Johnson and the Jaden player as well. So we don't exactly have confirmation on that. So who's playing? Jonathan Mingo is playing. I think that is huge. He's been kind of the preseason MVP for the Carolina Panthers. You got Marshall as well. Marshall is someone that they have liked, hasn't exactly come through. Smith Marset, who is my favorite play. You got Mike as well, who again, I kind of like him a little bit more. Jalen Croker is active. David Moore is active. Devin Thompson is active as well. At tight end, they go kind of deep. Actually, they go 5 deep. I mentioned Jacob Hollister and Jasper Horsted, 2 players that are not on the slate DFS wise. You can't bet on them prop wise. They are both active in this game, and they're pretty talented. I would say right now, those 2 in terms of like preseason appeal, they're probably my favorite, but we don't have them on the slate. So you got Sanders, Jordan Matthews, and Felipe Franks also active. Jordan Matthews and Franks are converted tight ends. Matthews was obviously a receiver. Franks was a former quarterback. It does make sense though for Sanders to get a lot of work. I expect Sanders to be extreme chalk though. And so I'm happy that we got that confirmation there for the Panthers. And now I just want to see if we get any more for the Giants and the Patriots and Detroit. So you know what? I'm just going to keep refreshing my feed here as well, but okay. This is a terrible tweet by a beat writer, but Tyquan Thornton is dressed up. I think that's interesting there. But you have a beat reporter saying that Tyquan Thornton hasn't practiced in 3 practices. I'm pretty sure he practiced yesterday, or maybe 2 days ago. It's kind of a strange tweet. Demario Douglas is indeed out tonight. We kind of expected that, but he is definitely out. It is raining in Foxborough as well, so kind of sucks. Just because it should be kind of a ground heavy game now, for sure, on both sides, on both games. I mean, a little bit annoying there. All right, so I think we got some more questions coming in. Yeah, so we got the question on Zonovan Knight rushing. If I had to choose, that would be the route I would go. Again, we just haven't gotten too much information on the site as much as I would like in terms of running back production. It's kind of strange. Like typically speaking, I mean, quarterback, we kind of get a lot of information on who's going to be playing a lot. Running back, we typically do as well. Now we're one slate into the kind of main preseason slate. The Hall of Fame game kind of counts, but it kind of doesn't. So it's kind of a weird thing to say that, we just don't have that much running back information just yet. Typically, we have at least one team, and it seems like the Panthers are going to be that team, but DraftKings, with how terrible of a job they did with this slate, we can't really play a lot of the players we'd want to play. And betting wise, Zonovan Knight, like we just don't have that many props available in general. So it's super strange that like he's even available prop betting wise. And again, I know we have Vake there as well. We have Zonovan Knight there. Craig Reynolds could get some work. And then you also have Jefferson there as well, who could all get work. So again, if I had to choose, I would be going with his over, but I wouldn't want to do that. I wonder if Mingo gets solid run. I don't really think Mingo's going to get solid run just because apparently he's been like besides Deontay Johnson, been like the best receiver for them, better than Adam Thielen. That's like what the reports are saying. He's been the camp MVP. Take that for what it's worth. And so if that is true, and we have seen this a bunch, and this is why I love preseason, it's like someone like him, if Mingo goes down and has a good game, he could be shut down for the rest of the preseason. And for fantasy football purposes, he becomes one of the best like value draft picks because that's a tell, right? And in poker, like you look at players that have tells. Well, a lot of the times coaches tell would be someone like Mingo, where it's like, all right, we've seen it on the practice field. We want to see it live. And if he does it live for us as well, he's gonna be someone that probably won't play the rest of the preseason. So I think he goes out, has a good couple of drives, and then he's done. And so I find that interesting. Let's see here. Sanders. No, Miles Sanders is out. Miles Sanders is out. So no, Mike Boone is not. There's 3 running backs active for the Panthers. Want to make that clear. Dylan Johnson is also active. So like this is where you got the DFS side, you got the prop side as well. So Mike Boone should be a good play. Mike Boone is kind of a veteran though as well. It's always more difficult with these vets where like, why are they there? Are they there to be a camp body, to be someone that maybe they can trust? You saw Cam Akers have a good Hall of Fame game, maybe trying to see if he has anything left in the tank. Kind of think that's what they're doing with Mike Boone. So I really wouldn't be surprised if someone like Dylan Johnson honestly has a good game. And so I wouldn't bet it's over 33.5. I know someone kind of mentioned that. I wouldn't do that. But again, I still would be betting his over on pick 6. Would I go 3rd running back or 4th receiver? I tend to go 4th receiver, especially on this slate where it's a little bit less straightforward in terms of who we want to be on. Now, honestly, if you want to go, yeah, I 4 receivers for me, just because the big play upside, like who's more likely to catch to make a random big play? It's a receiver. And typically speaking, I'm trying to maximize my stacks with my quarterbacks. And so I kind of go back to this a lot when I get asked this question. I forget the quarterback now, but it was Allen Robinson and Allen Hurns, Brandon Allen. I had that stack together in preseason NFL DFS is when they were all rookies, I believe. So this is a long time ago. But it's always one that sticks in my head. It was one of my first GPP takedowns. It was fun. They were a second half stack, and they were a second half stack that I only got to because I think it was Hearns in the flex or Robinson in the flex. And that said, I was definitely trying to maximize my upside with the receivers, and I was seemingly not going to win at all. And then you had the double dip there with Allen scoring a passing touchdown. I think it was Robinson that scored, whatever. But the only reason I was able to do that is because I prioritized doing 4 receivers in the total, just trying to maximize that upside. And this is not a slate where I think we have that much safety at running back, even with the Carolina Panthers. Thoughts on best tight end to stack with Hooker? So yeah, let's answer that. I think it's James Mitchell, right? It's got to be. I think he's the best one. He's like the one that makes the most sense to get some playing time in this game. Laporta's out. Brock Wright is kind of. I know he was playing catch with Jared Goff earlier on today, and so I'm not expecting Brock Wright to play as well. Typically speaking, the players that are kind of doing that stuff, getting like the pregame workouts in, they're not playing. So I think James Mitchell is next. You have Zane Zylstra, who was injured for most of the season last year. Parker Hesse, just a guy, and I have no idea who Sean is here. I haven't seen too much. So James Mitchell is the guy there, and I have done that a bunch as well. Marset or Mingo, that's a toss-up to me. I think Marset's the one I've been going with the most there. Oh, yeah, sorry. So tight end Sanders is certainly someone I'm playing. I'm just naturally kind of stacking with Jack Plummer. I think everyone's going to be doing that. So I was intentional by doing like 2% Felipe Franks and 2% Jordan Matthews as well, just to kind of hedge that. I was intentional about that, but I think Sanders is going to be the highest owned player on the slate. Love this stuff. Appreciate it. If you guys are enjoying this, give a like on the channel. If you guys are on Twitter, A retweet or a like is also appreciated as well. Do appreciate that, guys. So thoughts on Drew Lock. So this is a great question. I'm actually going to search this on Twitter as well. I'm just going to search this on my phone, guys. I think that's a little bit easier, honestly. How I have it set up, my camera is kind of in the way of my search bar on the computer, and my keyboard's like a little bit too far away to reach. So I feel like it always just looks awkward on camera. Do I care all too much about that? No, but if we can be professional, let's do that. All right, so Drew Lock is apparently playing. But reports are, and not that many, the New York media is typically some of the worst in terms of beat. It's super strange. Like the Jets are notoriously bad for being terrible with their beat writing for preseason NFL DFS. Drew Lock is my fourth highest owned quarterback on the slate because I do think there's a chance he plays a half, but I think we're more locked into Tommy DeVito getting a lot of work, and they're only carrying 3 quarterbacks. Okay. So Daniel Jones is not playing. We already know that. And so Drew Lock seems to truly be their QB2. Like, I think he's pretty locked into that role. And so are they really going to risk him playing a lot tonight? I mean, I'm looking at some live stuff right now. The weather doesn't look terrible, but that's even a slight concern. You're not going to risk it for the most part. All coaches had different coaching philosophies with that kind of stuff. I'm amazed by the lack of information right now, though. I follow so many beat reporters. Like, I curated my feed tonight for it. And it's insane. Just not getting that much as normal. So that's kind of crazy. And so we should be getting information pretty soon here, guys. Like, we're just like, it should be out like basically right now, but it's not. And just as an FYI, it does seem like most of the quarterbacks for New England are probably playing. So we're not messing with them. Now, I do want to get into some PrizePicks stuff again. But real quickly, I just scrolling on my phone here. I see one account from, I can't even confirm it's a beat reporter, saying that Bryce Ford Wheaton is active tonight. So I shouldn't say active. He's suited up. And that doesn't honestly mean too many things here. Who would you stack with Tommy DeVito? Well, there you go. You just got your answer. That's what I would do. A little bit of Bryce Ford Wheaton, but I have mixed and matched slight amount of Hyatt, Hodgins, slightly Isaiah McKenzie. That's where I went. And on the lineup builder, there's a rule that you can set where when I have Tommy DeVito as my quarterback, I want at least one of these players. It was McKenzie, Hodgins, Gunner, and then Bryce Ford Wheaton. Bryce Ford Wheaton probably becomes the most interesting one. Again, he's just someone that they liked last preseason, and given the fact that they haven't seen too much of him, they want to maximize what they can get out of him. Whereas some of these other guys, they've been around the league, they kind of know what they have in them. But that'd be the play. But I did kind of go all over the board. So what platform are you referring to here with this question? What my favorite 2-man? I mentioned on pick 6, my favorite 2-man would be. Let me just pull this up one more time here. It'd be Plummer for his over, just 138 point. Well, I don't know if I actually like that. I think I would go Hooker with his over, 113.5. And then we're going with Mike Boone, 25.5. We're going with that over. That'd be the route I'd want to go with for PrizePicks. Or sorry, for pick 6. I hate that they're so close in name. I really do. Do a refresh on Underdog as well, real quick. Drew Lock's at 90 passing yards. What are you guys thinking? Are you guys thinking like me, like that might be a little bit too high? I don't know. That's kind of telling for DFS, right? Drew Lock is at 90.5 passing yards. So Jack Plummer, Hayden Hooker at over 100. That does tell us, we kind of get our confirmation there that those two players are going to be the better plays at quarterback. And man, I kind of look at this in terms of quarters played, projected quarters played. This is telling me that Drew Lock is going to get a quarter and a half. Drake May, Joe Milton, they're going to get a quarter. That's what that's telling me. Jack Plummer, this is almost telling me that they think he's going to get a quarter and like maybe a half, and maybe, let's just say he's going to play 60% of the game. Let's put it that way. It's an interesting line. And Hooker, we know, is going to play a half at least. So I don't mind that. Sanders or Johnson at tight end. Again, just whoever you have at your quarterback, just stack with the tight end. That's just the way to go. Is Zane's Zielstra playing? I'll try to look that up as well. Again, the injury reports that we get for these games are not nearly as good as the injury reports that we get for regular season. They're not even injury reports. They're people at the game or beat reporters just doing their job, which is great. But it's the NFL. I think that it should be a little bit better than it is. Nothing really on him. I would say James Mitchell's still the play. I don't think Neighbors is getting run. I'm pretty sure that was confirmed that the starters, that the big play stars are out. Yeah, so PrizePicks, it's definitely a tighter board. PrizePicks just with, Summer League basketball and now the preseason, especially right after they come out with their lines are just better than Underdog and Pick Six for what that's worth. I don't really have favorites for PrizePicks. I mentioned Mike Boone I did like earlier. I find it interesting that we're getting Tyrone Tracy and Eric Gray props. I think there's a good chance. Who is it? Miller goes out and has a good game in this game. So I'm tempted to maybe do Eric Gray for his under. But again, it just feels like we're forcing a little bit more so on PrizePicks. Let's see Underdog here. I know this is my problem when I get good edges on PrizePicks or Underdog the day before. It's just for some reason it's tougher to me to tell you guys, oh, we need to be making these bets now, if that makes sense. I think it's worth pointing out Zonovan Knight, though, 22.5 for his rush and receiving yards. Obviously, that's a better bet than Underdog. The fact that we get the rush and receiving yards, he is someone that can catch passes out of the backfield. So if you were trying to get your exposures to him, that'd be the spot that you would want to do it. Hookers, man, that just keeps going up, guys. We got a massive edge yesterday on that. That's awesome. Hopefully he hits. Baker has went up a decent amount. The Drew Lock one's interesting. But yeah, it kind of feels like we're forcing it just compared to yesterday. And apologies. I wish I could be like, yeah, these are the best prop bets. I don't know. It just feels like more of a DFS slate and a pick six slate as well. I do college football props. I plan on doing college football props again. Any tight ends you're leaning towards? Yeah, my tight ends are pretty much dialed in here. So for Detroit, mostly just looking at James Mitchell for New York, mostly looking at Theo Johnson. I did want to get an update to see if Cager was playing. I don't think he is now, but he is someone I could have got to. Bell, I'm getting a decent amount of as well for New England, kind of going with a lot of these younger guys. And then for Carolina, I am going with Sanders the most, and then getting a little bit of Jordan Matthews. Who are my favorite running back plays today? I will say I think Dylan Johnson would probably be my favorite running back play if we could play him, but we can't. So Mike Boone, I'm getting a bunch of. Just it naturally makes sense, but I need to honestly end the live stream in about 6 minutes here so I can do some updates on my end. Or else I get distracted answering questions. I got 150 lineups that I need to update there. Mike Boone is definitely the go-to play now. but we also have we got a 3 running back split. We want to be taking advantage of that. So Carolina, honestly, guys, if you're someone that's maybe making a cash build, you could play 2 of the Carolina running backs and just be done with it, knowing that you're getting proper exposure, knowing that you're maximizing the playing time there. This is all about playing time. It's like NBA in minutes. That's all preseason NFL DFS is. Who would you stack with Hooker? There's a lot. Obviously, James Mitchell I like. Green I like. Boone I like. Caden Davis I like. There's a decent list. So you have plenty of options there. Fair receivers for the Patriots room. So Baker for sure. Polk could get some playing time. We don't really know. Thornton is active. Apparently, they kind of like what they've seen in him. I know he's been a little bit banged up. He does make sense to potentially have a splash play, but Baker's kind of the easy one. I think he's going to be popular. It's a guessing game with the Patriots, though. I want to make this clear because they are playing a bunch of their starters. They're trying to get looks with their starters, and so that is definitely a concern to me, is that they have too many mouths to feed, if you will. And so I'd rather go with maybe another spot, maybe the Carolina Panthers, where we're at least getting a decent edge on playing time. And I'm just checking some beat reports and stuff. So that's the thing. We don't know if Drew Lock is officially going to play 2 quarters or not. I've seen kind of conflicting reports. If he's playing even a quarter and a half, I think I would like that over as well. But the best source that I had was kind of leaning towards Tommy DeVito getting a lot of run in this game. And so that's where that's concerned. So if, let's just say, Drew Lock only plays a quarter and maybe a drive or 2, you never know how it plays out. I always like to say it that way because, the script could be to give him 3 series, and that could be over in the first quarter, or that could even go into most of the second quarter. You never know for sure. So again, kind of my issue with Hooker now is that the fact that I've gotten my exposure to him already today. And even before, I had him at, gosh, I hate how late I get on the comments. I apologize. But I already had his exposure already at like 101 or something like that. Again, though, pick 6, he's very low, 112. That's where you get your exposure. So Ford Whedon is dressed up. I don't want to say he's active. Do not take Blackshear under. He is not active. Do not do that. Honestly, though, pick 6, do not do that, guys. You'll get a DNP. Blackshear's out. I think there's a decent chance here that Hodgins does get good playing time. He, logically speaking, especially at the receiver spot, I think it makes sense that he gets some playing time. You look at some of those other guys that are going to be active, like Ford Wheaton is someone that is a special teams guy. You got Isaiah McKenzie, someone that's kind of a special teams guy. You got Gunner, a special teams guy. And so just pure receiver wise, I do think it makes sense for Hodgins to probably get 3 targets in this game. What he does with that, tough to say. So Ford Wheaton is dressed up. We don't know if he's going to play or not. Nice. Coming up clutch, Zach. I like that. I'm sure it's pretty accurate here. That's interesting that McKenzie would be starting then. Good to know. But again, I don't think we're going too crazy with the Giants in general. Favorite PrizePicks plays, again, I don't really have favorites for this. I'm more right now, as it sits right now, or before the live stream, I should say, I was really just hedging what I had yesterday exposure wise, just because we gained some huge edges. So Jack Plummer, his line has went up like 13 today alone. And so I kind of more hedged and kind of did his under. Again, I don't, typically speaking, you want to do unders anyways for preseason. So I'm kind of more leaning that, but for the most part, I don't really want to give a PrizePicks plays. Like I know you guys want to do PrizePicks bets for sure. We had the Mike Boone exposure at the start of this video, which was awesome. I'm almost doing the opposite now. Mike Boone under 33.5, just because we just got him at 28.5. It's a middle. Kind of got a slight advantage with that, but I don't see really big edges. I don't see clear misprices. Honestly, maybe that's due to some PrizePicks employee watching my videos and some other people's videos, kind of gauging where the hype's going to be and seeing where they have to adjust lines. Maybe, but I'm just not seeing that much. Isaiah Williams, you could. I wouldn't argue this. He is someone that makes logical sense. Again, Dan Campbell is someone that was very vocal about saying, I want to get these these younger guys that are going to be works in progress, a lot of playing time. This is one that both DFS wise and props wise, I was definitely interested in. I wouldn't talk you out of it. I wouldn't talk you doing the over. Again, that'd be if I had to choose, I'd choose his over. Who's my top running back? I'm just splitting it now. It's Mike Boone for sure, but I'm splitting it between the two Carolina Panthers running backs that we can play. And Sheridan. I didn't think I'd have to know Jaden Sheridan at all, but that's where we're at. All right, so I do need to get going here. So last questions here, I'll get those answered. Yeah, so Tom Kennedy's interesting here. Sheridan, I do like as a play now. Definitely someone we need to get exposure to. Tom Kennedy, I searched so many times. If you saw my search results, it'd be like 20 search results of Tom Kennedy, looking for any sort of confirmation that he has a pulse for the Detroit Lions. Because you look at some of the other players like Coker, he's been someone that's getting a decent amount of hype. I believe he's with Detroit. He's with the Panthers. You have Caden Davis here, who's been getting a lot of hype out of Detroit camp as well. So like I just kind of more pivoted to some of those guys. But Coker, I do like a lot, just as an FYI. PrizePicks 3-man, I'm not doing a 3-man. I'm just not. I'm sorry. Like if I had to, again, given the fact that it's kind of rainy and stuff and everything, and given the fact that we already got our exposures to these guys on Underdog yesterday, I think well, we can bet on pick six as well. You can kind of middle here. I think Plummer under pass yards makes sense. Don't exactly like that, but I think if you want a 3-man, and then honestly, here we go. Aaron Judge, Kyle Schwarber. Honestly, we got better prop bets on MLB today. So I would just say do that instead. Thoughts on David Moore? I'm not doing him. Neighbors is actually playing. I did just see a tweet covering that. So I wouldn't go crazy with him. They probably will try to give him the football a couple times. He probably will get a cheap 4 points. But we know his production is capped. He could score a touchdown in one series. We know that. It's just a guessing game. All right, guys, I do really need to get out of here. Apologies. I wish I could stay up until lineup lock, but the slate breaking news, Blackshear being out is impacting my DFS build, so I need to do some changes. Appreciate everyone being here. Good luck today. And just real quickly, I will show you guys again the discrepancies on pick six. This is where we should begin our exposure to, again, because we already take advantage of some edges that we had on Underdog and PrizePicks. Mike Boone, do his over on pick six. If you guys are kind of maybe worried about his playing time, again, you could do his under on PrizePicks. Jack Plummer, that's a pretty big prop line difference, 6. And then we also have Hooker as well, 6 for a prop line difference. So decent middling opportunity there, guys, especially on PrizePicks. So PrizePicks bet their unders. Pick six, you could do their overs. I think that's the best way to go. All right. So, Dylan Johnson's on FanDuel. I don't mind that. And especially if you're someone that plays on both sites, I think that'd be the way to go. But I do need to get out of here, guys. Apologies. Again, I wish I could stay up until lineup block. I wish that news didn't come right before the live stream. But good luck today, guys. Appreciate everyone being here. I'll be on a live stream again tomorrow and throughout the weekend. I plan on doing them, each slate here. So I'll check or I'll see you guys tomorrow. All right. Thanks for watching. Good luck. And as always, let's keep cashing.